I asked for a message for the highest and best of my collective, and here it is. Hello. Reverend Megadeth. Doing things, reading cards. Starting shit, taking names, as usual. What do we got going on today, Spirit? Oh. Is that up or down? That's down. Strength in reverse. Somebody feels like they're at the end of their rope. They have been, I just heard the word wrangling, putting up with a lot of stuff from people around them. And I keep seeing the cat's paw on the head of the little chow there. It's like somebody's really acting out and you're trying to keep them chill, but they keep acting out and you're kind of at your wit's end with this stuff. Here's the thing, though. The dog's a chow, right? Those were bred to be, they're guard dogs. It's in their nature to be like that. That's the type of person that they are. And there is something in there about you needing to accept that this is not just them needing to calm down. There is something deeper going on here, and you're not going to be able to, you're at your wit's end, you're not going to be able to stop them because this is how they are, and this is what they're doing. Jesus. All right, let's see what we can do here. Too many cards. There we are. So we've got this Justice. We've got a Queen of Wands here. In the past, we've got Justice, moving towards Justice. In the known, we have the Ace of Wands, wanting to start a nice new beginning. And in the unknown, the over, we have the Nine of Cups. This is about a Queen of Wands. Look at this. Look at this cat. Look at her. Look at the look on her face. And in the spread, she's looking at Strength like this, right? Strength who is upside down and like with the paw on the head of the chow saying, all right, knock it off. And the chow's like, fuck you. This is who I am and I'm going to keep doing it. And this Queen of Wands is just sitting there. I mean, look at her face. She's just like, what the heck is going on? She has no idea what all of this is about. She's a bit taken aback by it, though. And I think it was about a new beginning, a new idea, a new start, new creative venture that we wanted with the Queen of Wands. Can you clarify? Strength, please. And Justice, I cannot believe that came right out in the cross position, but and Queen of Wands. The unknown is the Nine of everything is coming out in a challenge position, and that's crazy. This is a big challenge here. The unknown, the covert, this Nine of Cups also looks mildly aghast, has the same kind of like shocked and aghast look as the Queen of Wands cat does. Just like, I don't know what the hell is going on over there, but please get it under control. And I feel like wish fulfillment is something that is more refined, sensible, reasoned, calm and balanced. And that's not what we're dealing with right now. We're dealing with an angry Chow who won't stop. And we're crossed with the Six of Swords. I don't know if you feel like it's your obligation to control this person or something, but it's not. You can let them do what they do and fall on their face. Six of Cups crossing this situation tells me that you really just want to move on and let go of this and stop having to fight. Having to fight. This little guy peeking out. See this guy? He's just peeking out. There's that orange kitten that we wanted to, put in our cart and go home with the other day. The eyes on this guy too. I feel like you would be leaving a lot behind. Even though I think you have everything you need right now. Queen of Wands in the past position crossed with the King of Swords. So here is the confirmation that there was some sort of an offer or beginning, a new direction, a creative venture that you wanted to start with this person. And apparently it really upset someone to the point where they can't control themselves. And all you've been doing is sitting here fighting with this person and telling them to knock it off and telling them to calm down and telling them to stop it. And they won't. And they won't do it because that is the type of person that they are. This is very clear to me here. This is who they are. You are seeing this person for who they are right now. And if they do it to this person, they will do it to anyone. And that does also include you, if it gets to that point. And so while I see that you're conflicted about moving on somewhere safer and calmer, I don't think that you should be. Although I understand why you are. As we move towards the future into justice here, the Justice card, crossed with the Tower. So this is the future. And what this says to me is I think you're afraid of everything falling apart. And it might, but it doesn't have to. What's going to keep all of this from falling apart like that? Let's get some advice, Spirit. One more. Thank you. High Priestess. Hermit. Talk about a need to go within. It does not have to all fall apart. But there's inner work that needs to be done. There are truths that need to be acknowledged. Oh, and I am just now seeing the infinity sign above the head of the cat on the strength card as I'm looking at this, and it's upside down. This is a cycle. This is a cycle that you've been in with this person repeatedly over and over and over. It will not end until you walk away from it entirely. And yes, some things might crumble and fall apart, but always remember that even when the tower falls, there's still a foundation to be built off of. And there is wisdom and insight that is gained when this falls apart. Often we're refusing to look at the truth, and that is why the tower falls. There is some falsehood there with the tower, you know. It's a construct. It's a false reality. It can be lies that we tell ourselves, or it can be, well, what was the Tower of Babel? It was people thinking they were as good as God and trying to build a tower to heaven. And God said, nope, and zapped it down. Know your place. I think there were a lot of illusions around the relationship with this person. What is the nature of this relationship, by the way? I'm curious about that. Can you tell me that? Or not? I don't know. Sometimes it will, but if it doesn't, it's probably because it applies to a number of different types of relationships. Okay. Knight of Cups. No, not with the Queen of Wands. Between Queen of Wands, Knight of Cups in the reverse. So, you know, Knight of Cups in the reverse. I guess that was the reason for the hesitation for coming forward with the rest of it, because there were some feelings that you were harboring for this person that you were not coming forward with and hiding away. There's a lot of avoiding the truth in this reading, and the spirit between the High Priestess and the Hermit says, number one, you need to go inside and really look at the truth of your feelings here. You need to shut everybody else out. Forget whatever the hell they're trying to say to you, because it doesn't matter what anybody else says. Your feelings and your inner experience. Christ. Your feelings and your inner experience are not something other people get to judge. They just are. You have to accept it for what it is, and then you get to determine what kind of experience you want to have moving forward with that. The High Priestess says to me, there needs to be a different approach in terms of it. There's a more withdrawn, more passive approach that needs to be taken here. I swear. I just heard gray rock. Somebody needs to just... Somebody is reacting because you are reacting. Somebody is... This is how they are, and so how they are is getting upset, making a big scene, so that you tend to them and ignore everything else. And that's why that's this cycle that is continuing around and around and around and around. And that you haven't seen the way that this person is manipulating you and your emotions to make things go in a way that they want to see happen. And you think you're just trying to calm somebody down. But what's actually happening is they're taking all your time and your energy and your attention, and they're directing it away from what really needs your focus, causing you to lose that attention and drop things and make decisions that aren't the best decisions. We're centering this chow. And you really don't have the fortitude to deal with that anyway. And it is leading to a path of things falling apart if you're not careful. It does not have to, though. And you may be very disappointed about this. And you have every right to be. Because when somebody that, is important to us, and I do think this person seems to have some significance, I think you felt like this person stood up for you, protected you, had your back for a long time. And now you're starting to see the ways in which this person never did, and how they were just manipulating you and making you believe things about either themselves or other people to get certain behavior out of you. And it's disappointing and it's upsetting. And it is a hard truth to swallow when it's right there in her face, finally. But it's a good thing that you're seeing it. And you're not trying to figure out which person that they are. This is who they are. They are a person who uses their emotions to manipulate other people, to get them to behave or do things that they want them to do. And, well, Spirit is saying it's about time you saw through this, too, with that High Priestess. You know the truth within. And I think a lot of this is coming out, and a lot of these cards came out in the challenge position because you're doubting yourself. What's some advice here? 15 minutes. I just, when I giggle, Spirit's present, but I mean, come on. Fell right on the pile, advice from Spirit. What is Spirit telling you to do? Look at that big sun out there in the distance. Look. Walk. Walk, walker. The walker is on a new adventure, on a new journey. And quite frankly, Spirit says it's time. I think you're trying to hold on to a system, a structure, a situation that has long overlived its usefulness, and it is definitely not working for your highest and best, and you were trapped in this toxic cycle. Right now, you have an opportunity for a beautiful new start that, you know, may end up being a wish fulfillment for you in a way that you don't even know yet. But you don't want to make the steps forward because I think you're in a little bit of denial inside about the truth of this person being that calculated. And I know from experience that it's really hard to accept the truth of somebody being that calculated. But truth be told, there's a lot of people out in the world like this. A lot of them. A lot of people operate like this. And they always find the ones with goodwill. They do. It's time to drop this. It's, you know, it's time to rehome that chow because it's made a mess of things. And this is not going to be without struggle, without some things falling apart, without some discomfort. You know, but the card that came out in the future position is Justice. And Spirit is saying that right now your best bet is to move on somewhere safer, and that is definitely away from this cycle and this situation. Justice, moving in the future, can be good. In other words, we've ended this cycle. We've had our justice, and now we've got we're walking off into the sunset, into that bright new start. Or it can mean continuing to enable this behavior and then things falling apart because we did not intervene when we should have. So the choice is up to you. But the problem here and the big challenge is this King of Pentacles here, who is pretty stable and solid, but I love this card. He's blind. He ain't got no eyes. And that can mean a number of different things in readings with context. But here what it's saying is you've ignored a lot of things. You've been blind to your own feelings. You've been blind to your own abundance and creativity and stability. You've been blind to the chaos that's been caused by this other person running around and freaking out. Because this isn't the first time. You've been blind to this cycle. And gently, some of that may have been on purpose, because accepting that you have been ignoring this is a hard pill to swallow. You've been trying to ground yourself in stability by not looking at the truth of it, and thus creating an unstable situation for yourself, because you haven't built on level ground. You've built on rocky ground. But again, this isn't doomed. You have an opportunity to walk off into a beautiful, bright future and start something wonderful. And you've got the ability and the idea to do that. What you need to do is let go of what is no longer working for your highest and best. Nostalgia, past experiences are not working for your highest and best in the present moment. No amount of positive past experiences can change a pattern that has made itself very clear in the present moment. And it's very true that we can have not had situations like this. Generally, it just means they're covered up or much, more hidden with this kind of dynamic. We can have those experiences. They don't go away. But if in the present we're not having those experiences and it's all negative and it's all bad and it's all drama and it's all a bunch of crap, what's the truth? The truth is both things, but the truth is in the present moment, it's gone garbage and it has to go. You don't keep something around, If we thought about it like a machine part, right? It may have worked really well at one point, and now it's clunking along because it has cracks or whatever. What would we do? And it's causing problems with the machine that it's in. So what would we do? Would we get a new part? Or would we hold on to the old part and keep it in that machine, not working well and making a mess of things? Because at one point in time, it did work. There is a time when things need to be removed and dealt with. And Spirit just said the reason that all these cards came out in the challenge position is because you have a hard time with that. You don't like confrontation. I don't like confrontation either, because I don't think confrontation is the right word. I think problem solving, coming together to problem solve, have a difficult discussion, something like that. But it's not about confronting. It's not about fighting. It's not about an argument. Quite frankly, all you need to do is make a decision and stick to it. And don't let anybody change your mind. And I think you know what the right decision is, because you are not feeling very great where you are in the present moment. And you, as I look at this card, the Six of Swords in the challenge is this big wide-eyed baby who's been through so much stuff is looking straight up at this Ace of Wands. New start, new idea, new creative beginning. I think it's time, but it is also up to you. So I can present this information to you and you can do something entirely different, which is completely your right. But it's always hard. You're not wrong for not noticing things sooner. You're not a bad person for that. But now, when you do notice these toxic cycles, finally you're seeing this. It's time to make the right choice in that. If this is hurting other people and you're just letting it slide, then that's not a great choice to make. So now that you're seeing it, be honest with yourself. Go inside and really be honest with yourself about what you want And if staying in this situation is going to bring that to you, because I don't think it's going to, and I think deep down inside you know that too. To be honest, I know that it will hurt, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as you think it is. Because if you do make the right decision, what's coming in is even better. So, choose wisely. Choose for yourself. You don't want to put up with this crap anymore. You don't. You're dying to move on somewhere calmer and more peaceful. So do that for yourself because you deserve it, okay? Love you. Bye.